In the far reaches of northern Botswana lies the legendary land of Mombo, a realm where, in ordinary years, the pulse of life beats strong and wild. Here, the Okavango's ancient arteries once spilled their bounty, transforming the plains into a living tapestry of green, teeming with creatures great and small. Rivers once braided through the grasslands, their waters nourishing a mosaic of habitats. Herds of buffalo, zebra, and antelope grazed in abundance, while predators watched from the shadows, each species woven into the intricate web of life. But now the balance has been shattered. The sun, relentless and unyielding, scorches the earth from horizon to horizon. Heat shimmers above the plains, distorting the air and sapping the strength of every living thing. The rains, once predictable and life-giving, have failed. A drought of rare severity has seized the kingdom, its grip tightening with each passing day. The soil splits and cracks, exposing the bones of the land beneath. Rivers that once surged with promise now lie dormant, reduced to shallow muddy veins. The grasslands, stripped of their emerald cloak, are swept by dust-laden winds. The savannah has faded to a brittle, pale brown. Only the hardiest shrubs and tufts of grass cling to life, their roots probing deep for any trace of moisture. For the animals, every day is a crucible. Herds move with a desperate energy, their bodies lean and eyes wary. The strong push forward, while the weak fall behind, each step a test of endurance. At the shrinking waterholes, tension hangs thick in the air. Antelope gather in nervous clusters, their ears flicking at every sound, their nostrils flaring for the scent of danger. Grazers scour the land for the last blades of grass, their muzzles sifting through dust and brittle stems. Wildebeest and zebra, once spoiled for choice, now compete fiercely for every mouthful. Waterholes, now reduced to muddy puddles, become the axis upon which all life turns. Each drop is precious, each sip a risk. Elephants, with their deep memory, lead their families across vast distances to these shrinking oases. Antelope, warthogs, and even the most elusive creatures gather, drawn by the promise of water. But the congregation of so many species breeds conflict. Tempers flare as space and resources dwindle. Horns clash, hooves stamp, and the hierarchy of the wild is tested anew. The drought's reach is insidious. Plants wither in slow motion, their leaves curling and stems collapsing. Herbivores, deprived of nourishment, grow gaunt and hollow-eyed. Antelope nibble at dry, tasteless stalks, their bodies burning reserves of fat and muscle. The youngest and oldest are the first to falter. Predators, too, are challenged. Lions and leopards prowl the open plains, their usual ambushes foiled by the lack of cover. Prey is scarce, and every hunt is a gamble. Survival demands innovation. Some animals shift their routines, drinking at odd hours or traveling in smaller groups to avoid detection. Others form uneasy alliances, sharing waterholes with rivals in a fragile truce. The boundaries between predator and prey blur. At the water's edge, a lioness may drink beside a wary antelope, both too exhausted to fight or flee, bound by mutual need. The absence of water redraws ancient migration routes. Elephants, guided by matriarchal wisdom, lead their herds to forgotten springs, while smaller creatures follow in their wake, hoping for a share of the bounty. Territories dissolve and reform. Newcomers challenge old residents, and the struggle for dominance intensifies. The social fabric of the wild is torn and rewoven with each confrontation. Herds become nomads, traversing vast distances in search of sustenance. The journey is perilous. Predators stalk the weak, and exhaustion claims the vulnerable. Families huddle together at night, drawing strength from one another. Bonds are tested as hunger gnaws and thirst torments, but the instinct to protect kin endures. In these moments, the raw essence of survival is revealed. Mothers shield their young, ever vigilant for lurking danger. Every sense is sharpened, every decision critical. At the water's edge, ancient enemies become uneasy neighbors. The drive to survive overrides old instincts, if only for a moment. As dusk falls, the savannah is painted in gold and shadow. The day's heat lingers and the land holds its breath, waiting for the cool darkness. Night brings no true respite. Nocturnal hunters emerge, their senses attuned to the faintest movement. Prey animals move with caution, every shadow a potential threat. The bush comes alive with new sounds, chirps, growls, and the rustle of unseen bodies. The rhythm of life shifts, but the struggle remains. The night air vibrates with the calls of the hungry and the hunted. Lions proclaim their territory, while the anxious cries of prey echo in the darkness. This is the new order of Mombo, a land stripped to its essence, where only the most adaptable endure. With each sunrise, the cycle begins anew. Animals rise, driven by the unyielding need for water and food, their tracks etching fresh stories into the dust. The saga of Mombo is written in the footprints that lead to vanishing waterholes and in the silent remains of those who could not endure. In this thirsty kingdom, survival is both a triumph and a tragedy, played out beneath the unblinking African sun. In the heart of the parched savannah, where the sun scorches the earth and the air shimmers with heat, most creatures struggle to survive. But amid this hardship, one group flourishes, unmatched in cunning and resilience. The spotted hyenas, gathered in formidable numbers, resemble a disciplined army more than a mere family. For them, the drought is not a disaster, but a rare chance to seize power. Their ranks stretch across the cracked earth, each member alert and purposeful. As they move, their presence casts a long, ominous shadow over the land, signaling a shift in the balance of power. These hyenas are opportunists, thriving on chaos. They circle the weak and the dying, ever watchful for the next chance to feed, their senses honed to detect the faintest scent of vulnerability. At the helm is a formidable matriarch, her authority unquestioned. She leads with a blend of intelligence and ferocity, orchestrating the clan's every move with precision. The clan moves as one, each hyena aware of its role. Their coordination is military. Scouts fan out ahead, while the main force advances in tight formation, ready to overwhelm any resistance. As dusk falls, their eerie calls ripple through the darkness, a chilling chorus that unsettles every creature within earshot. These vocalizations are more than warnings. They are signals, rallying the clan and marking territory. Around the shrinking waterholes, the hyenas display remarkable strategy. They position themselves to intercept herds, block escape routes, and isolate the weakest animals, ensuring no opportunity is missed. By occupying the last pools of water, they have transformed these oases into fortresses. Any animal desperate enough to approach must face the gauntlet of vigilant sentinels. The desperate and the thirsty gather at the water's edge, their movements cautious, their eyes fixed on the ever-watchful hyenas. Every sip is a gamble with fate. Antelope and zebra, driven by thirst, approach with trembling limbs. The hyena's gaze is unblinking, their patience infinite, waiting for a single misstep. Patrols sweep the plains and forest edges, expanding the clan's reach. New recruits, drawn by the promise of food and protection, bolster their numbers, swelling the ranks of this relentless force. Scavenging is an art perfected by the clan. They descend upon carcasses with ruthless efficiency, stripping flesh and crushing bone, leaving nothing for the vultures. Their audacity knows no bounds. They challenge lions at fresh kills, harass leopards into abandoning their prey, and snatch meals from the jaws of rivals, their teamwork overwhelming even the fiercest opponents. The suffering of others is their advantage. As the drought weakens the herds, the hyenas' dominance grows, their bellies full while others waste away. Every movement is calculated. The clan advances in disciplined lines, each member attuned to the signals of the matriarch and her lieutenants. The matriarch surveys the landscape, her high-ranking commanders relaying her orders. Patrols are dispatched to scout for weakness, and the clan's territory expands with every successful raid. When a solitary predator is spotted, the clan mobilizes instantly. They swarm with overwhelming force, driving off competitors and claiming every scrap of food. Their jaws, unmatched in strength, shatter bones with ease. Even the toughest remains yield to their bite, allowing them to extract every last calorie from the famine-stricken land. Nothing is wasted. The clan devours hide, flesh, and bone, leaving only dust behind. This efficiency is their edge in a world where every morsel counts. In the midst of devastation, the hyenas stand triumphant. Their adaptability and unity have turned adversity into opportunity, making them the undisputed survivors of the drought. The rise of the hyena army has redrawn the map of power. Where lions once ruled unchallenged, now the hyenas dictate the terms of survival. Lions, forced to defend every meal, are beset by relentless harassment. The hyenas' numbers and tactics wear down even the mightiest of foes. Leopards, ever wary, must hoist their kills high into the trees. Only there, above the reach of the marauding hyenas, can they eat in peace. The atmosphere at every waterhole is tense. Prey animals scan the horizon, their bodies taut with fear, knowing that a single mistake could mean death. Even the most skilled hunters are not safe. The hyena's persistence means that a successful hunt is only the beginning of the struggle for food. In this kingdom of dust and bone, the hyena army reigns supreme. Their empire, forged in hardship, is a testament to the power of unity, strategy, and relentless will to survive. For Tsebe, the lioness, the relentless drought is more than a test of endurance. It's a crucible that forges leaders or breaks them. The land beneath her paws is cracked and barren, the air shimmering with heat, and every breath carries the scent of dust and desperation. Her golden eyes scan the horizon, searching for hope, but all she finds is uncertainty. The weight of responsibility presses on her shoulders, for the future of her pride depends on her choices. Together with her sister, Tsebe forms the core of the pride. The two northern brothers, powerful yet unproven, linger nearby. Their presence is both a promise and a risk. Tsebe dreams of nurturing a legacy, raising cubs who will one day rule these plains. But dreams alone cannot shield the vulnerable from the harsh realities of the wild. The northern brothers, for all their strength, seem indifferent to the threats that gather at the edges of their territory. Tsebe's patience wears thin as she watches them lounge in the shade, oblivious to the dangers encroaching. Hyenas, cunning and relentless, test the boundaries of the pride's domain. The male's lack of vigilance leaves the pride exposed, and Tsebe's frustration grows. Each day, the hyenas grow bolder, their laughter echoing across the plains. Tsebe knows that here her cubs would be born into peril, their lives hanging by a thread. Instinct sharpens her resolve. Survival demands adaptation, and Tsebe senses that the only hope lies beyond these familiar hunting grounds. Driven by a fierce maternal instinct and the need to secure her lineage, Tsebe makes a momentous decision. She will lead her pride away from danger into the unknown. She turns her back on the complacent brothers, refusing to wait for them to rise to the challenge. The future cannot be gambled on uncertainty. The pride embarks on a treacherous migration, leaving behind the only territory they have ever known. Every step is a gamble, every mile a test of endurance. Their path leads north toward the promise of water and safety, but the journey is fraught with danger, parched earth, dwindling prey, and the ever-present threat of rival predators. Under the merciless sun, the pride's strength wanes. Hunger gnaws at their bellies and thirst cracks their lips. Each day is a battle against exhaustion and despair. Tsebe's sister follows, her trust unwavering. Together they draw courage from each other, their bond a lifeline in the wilderness. The northern brothers, chastened by the journey, trail behind. Their fate now rests with the lionesses who lead the way. At last, the landscape shifts. Green shoots break through the dust, and the air carries the scent of water. The pride enters a new territory, rich with promise. Their first kill in days brings relief. The pride feasts, muscles replenished, spirits lifted. For a moment, survival feels possible again, but the wild offers no sanctuary for long. Hyenas, ever watchful, converge on the pride's hard-won meal, their numbers swelling with each passing minute. The Northern Brothers stand at a crossroads. The pride's survival hinges on their courage and unity. With the hyena mob closing in, the brothers finally awaken to their duty. Their roars split the air, a warning and a challenge. They surge forward, muscles coiled, fangs bared. The clash is violent and chaotic, dust, snarls, and the raw force of survival. Working in tandem, the brothers drive the hyenas back. The scavengers scatter, defeated by the pride's newfound unity and strength. Tsebe watches, her doubts dissolving. The brothers have proven themselves at last, their loyalty and power undeniable. Acceptance replaces skepticism. Tsebe welcomes the brothers as true partners, their destinies now intertwined. The pride, once fractured by doubt, is now united, a formidable family bound by survival and trust. In time, both Tsebe and her sister swell with new life. Their bellies heavy, they carry the hope of a new generation, the future of their bloodline. As their bodies grow cumbersome, hunting becomes a struggle. Every stalk is slower, every chase more taxing, but necessity drives them onward. Guided by instinct, the sisters part ways, each seeking a hidden sanctuary. Dense thickets and rocky crevices offer the promise of safety for their soon-to-be born cubs. Tsebe, haunted by the loss of her first litter, is vigilant. Every shadow is a potential threat, every sound a warning. At last, she finds a secluded den, cool and concealed. Here, in the quiet heart of the wilderness, Tsebe brings new life into the world. Her quest for a future, hard-won and fiercely protected, begins anew. As the sun beats down on the parched savannah, Thata's pride moves with a heavy, uncertain gait. Each poor step stirs dust from the cracked earth, a silent testament to the drought's relentless grip. While Tsebe's pride seeks a new beginning elsewhere, Queen Thata faces a far more immediate crisis. Her family's very survival teeters on the edge. Thata's eyes, once bright with confidence, now flicker with worry. Her cubs huddle close, their bellies hollow, their playful energy replaced by anxious glances. The air is thick with tension, every member of the pride acutely aware of the growing hunger gnawing at their insides. As matriarch, Thata shoulders the immense responsibility of feeding her kin. Her leadership is unquestioned, but the weight of expectation grows heavier with each passing day without a successful hunt. The drought has stripped the land of its bounty. Prey is scarce, and the once lush grasslands have become a barren wasteland. Every hunt is a gamble, and failure means another day of hunger. Yet, Thata's greatest challenge is not the emptiness of the plains, but the discord within her own pride. The adolescent males on the cusp of adulthood have grown strong and imposing, but instead of contributing, they distance themselves, their independence manifesting as indifference. These young lions possess the strength and skill to hunt, their bodies lean and powerful, their instincts sharp, but they choose idleness, lounging in the shade while the lionesses risk everything to bring down prey. When a kill is made, the young males are first to feast, their hunger insatiable, their manners absent. They devour the spoils, leaving only scraps for the lionesses and cubs. Thata, her loyal sister, and the youngest cubs wait on the periphery, their eyes fixed on the diminishing remains, hope fading with every bite the males take. The pride's unity is fraying, hunger breeds frustration, and the lioness's patience wears thin. The cubs, too young to understand, whimper softly, their cries echoing the pride's desperation. Driven by necessity, Thata and her sister are forced to take greater risks. Each hunt becomes more perilous, the stakes higher than ever before. In a bold move, they set their sights on a baby elephant, a target few would dare challenge. Hunger has made them fearless, or perhaps reckless, but the mother elephant is a towering guardian, her presence alone a formidable barrier. She positions herself between the hunters and her calf, her every movement a warning. With a thunderous charge, she scatters the lionesses, her fury unmatched. The pride's hopes are dashed in an instant, and the risk yields nothing but exhaustion. Thata glances toward the young males, her gaze pleading for support, for unity in the face of adversity. But they remain sprawled in the shade, bellies full, eyes half closed, unmoved by the pride's struggle. Their apathy is a silent rebellion, a breach of the unspoken code that binds the pride together. Thata's heart aches with betrayal. The pride's strength has always been its unity, but now division threatens to unravel everything she has fought to protect. Alone, she bears the crushing weight of her family's fate. Each step she takes is heavy with responsibility and fear. Frustration simmers beneath her calm exterior. Hunger gnaws at her, but the greater pain is watching her pride slip further into despair. Yet, Thata's resolve is unbroken. She scans the horizon, searching for any sign of opportunity, her determination burning brighter with each setback. She knows that if salvation is to come, it will be by her own strength and cunning. The burden is hers alone. Suddenly she spots a warthog, a formidable adversary, but one that could mean survival for her cubs. The warthog is wary, its tusks sharp, and its muscles coiled for flight or fight. For a lone lioness, it is a dangerous gamble. Thata crouches low, every muscle tensed, then explodes into action. The chase is swift and brutal, the struggle is violent, a desperate clash of survival instincts. Dust and blood fill the air as predator and prey battle for their lives. Against the odds, Thata's skill prevails. She stands over the fallen warthog, her sides heaving, victory hard won. Relief floods her as she clings to her prize. For a moment, hope flickers. Her family will eat tonight. But triumph is fleeting. In the chaos, the warthog's tusk has slashed deep into her side, leaving a wound that bleeds freely onto the scorched earth. The pain is sharp and unrelenting, her body trembling from the effort of the kill and the agony of her injury. Blood seeps from the gash, staining her golden coat. Every breath is a struggle, but instinct demands she protect her kill. She stands guard, her body a barrier between the carcass and the ever-present threat of scavengers. But her strength is fading. The wound saps her energy, and she collapses beside her hard-won meal, unable to defend it. Before she can even taste the reward of her struggle, danger arrives on the wind. The scent of blood draws a pack of hyenas, their laughter echoing across the plains as they close in on the wounded lioness. Thata tries to stand her ground, but her injury leaves her powerless. The hyenas swarm, their jaws snapping, their eyes gleaming with hunger. In moments, they overpower her, dragging the warthog away as she watches helplessly, her sacrifice stolen by the wild's ruthless opportunists. Alone and gravely wounded, Thata is left with nothing but pain and the bitter taste of defeat. Her body trembles, her spirit battered but not yet broken. The deep gash hinders her every movement. Each step is agony, and the simple act of walking becomes a monumental task. Infection soon sets in, the wound swelling and oozing, her body feverish as it fights a losing battle against unseen enemies. Once the pride's fiercest hunter, Thata now lingers at the edge of the group, her presence a painful reminder of the cost of survival. Her body grows thinner, her strength ebbing away beneath the relentless African sun. The pride senses her decline, uncertainty clouding their future. As Thata's reign falters, the pride's fate hangs in the balance. The cubs huddle together, their eyes wide with fear, as the harsh realities of the wild threaten to tear their family apart. In the kingdom of lions, survival always comes at a price, and for Thata's pride, that price may be everything they hold dear. The relentless drought has transformed the once thriving savannah into a harsh, unforgiving expanse. Waterholes have vanished, and the parched earth cracks beneath the feet of desperate animals, each searching for a lifeline in a world grown brittle and bare. The struggle for survival intensifies as the boundaries of territory blur, and every creature, is forced to adapt or perish. Among these survivors is Phefo, a striking leopard whose golden coat blends seamlessly with the dappled shadows of the forest. Her eyes, sharp and vigilant, betray the weight of responsibility she carries. She is not alone. Her every step is guided by the urgent need to protect her two fragile cubs. Phefo's maternal instincts are fierce and unwavering. Her cubs, still unsteady on their paws, rely on her for warmth, nourishment, and safety. Each gentle lick and nuzzle is an act of reassurance, a silent promise that she will do whatever it takes to keep them alive. Driven by necessity, Phefo abandons the barren plains and ventures into the dense forest. Here, the thick undergrowth offers concealment from prying eyes and the hope of prey. But this new territory is not without its own dangers. It is a place of opportunity and risk, where every shadow could conceal a threat. Her arrival is not welcomed by all. A younger leopard, once the ruler of this patch, is forced to retreat, displaced by Phefo's determination. In this kingdom, survival often comes at the expense of another, and the balance of power shifts with every new arrival. Though she has found a temporary refuge, Phefo's vigilance never falters. Every rustle in the undergrowth, every unfamiliar scent, is a potential threat to her vulnerable family. As a solitary mother, Phefo faces a daily dilemma. She must hunt to feed her cubs, yet every moment spent away from them exposes them to danger. Each hunt is a calculated risk. She moves with silent precision, her senses heightened, knowing that failure means hunger and success means leaving her cubs alone and defenseless. Before she departs, Phefo carefully tucks her cubs deep within the tangled roots of a hidden den. Their tiny bodies curl together, trusting in their mother's choice of sanctuary. Alone, the cubs are utterly defenseless. Their eyes, wide with innocence, scan the darkness for their mother's return, unaware of the dangers that lurk just beyond their shelter. The forest teems with predators, rival leopards, opportunistic hyenas, and other carnivores drawn by the scent of vulnerability. Each is a threat to the cubs, and Phefo knows that a single misstep could be fatal. One day, a powerful male leopard prowls dangerously close to the den. His presence is a silent menace, his motives clear. He is a threat to any young not his own. If he discovers the cubs, instinct will drive him to eliminate them, ensuring his own lineage prevails. Phefo must hunt with absolute stealth, dispatching her prey swiftly and returning before danger finds her young. Her movements are a masterclass in silent efficiency, every muscle tuned for survival. The tension is constant. As she drags her kill through the undergrowth, her ears flick back, alert to any sign of pursuit. The weight of her responsibility is ever present. In this shadowy world, danger is never more than a heartbeat away. While Phefo is gone, her cubs huddle together, their senses sharpened by fear. They witness the raw brutality of the wild, learning early that survival is never guaranteed. The shrill cries of a hyena pack echo through the forest as they bring down their prey, the violence unfolding just meters from the cubs' hiding place. The lesson is harsh and unforgettable. The cubs flinch at every sound, the scent of blood and fear imprinting on their memories. These moments shape their instincts, teaching them caution and silence. When a hyena follows Phefo's scent trail back to the den, the threat becomes immediate. The scavenger's persistence is matched only by Phefo's resolve. With calculated bravery, Phefo confronts the intruder, risking her own safety to draw the hyena away from her cubs. Her every move is driven by the primal force of maternal love. She stands her ground, baring her teeth and unleashing a warning snarl. In this moment she is both guardian and warrior, her devotion unbreakable. Against all odds, Phefo's skill as a hunter and her relentless determination ensure her cubs do not go hungry. Each successful hunt is a triumph over adversity. She returns to the den, her jaws clamped around a fresh kill, her body weary, but her spirit undiminished. The sight of her approach is a beacon of hope for her waiting cubs. The cubs rush to greet her, their hunger momentarily forgotten in the joy of reunion. Their trust in her is absolute, their bond deepened by every shared hardship. As they feed, their bodies grow stronger, and the lessons of survival are passed from mother to child in every bite, every watchful glance. For a brief moment, peace settles over the den. The cubs nestle close to Phefo, their bellies full, their fears eased by her presence. In her care, they find the only security this wild kingdom can offer. As the sun dips below the horizon, Phefo watches over her family, ever alert. She has brought them another precious day. Her fierce motherhood, a testament to the enduring power of instinct and love in a world ruled by survival. In the heart of the Mombo wilderness, the Hyena clan stands as a formidable force, an army bound by blood, hierarchy, and the relentless pursuit of survival. Yet within this powerful collective, not every member basks in the spoils of victory. Kutlo, a young and undersized hyena, is the runt of his litter. His stature and timid demeanor set him apart, marking him as an outsider in a society that reveres dominance and aggression. To the rest of the clan, Kutlo is a burden, his presence tolerated but never embraced. He is overlooked during hunts, dismissed as a liability, and often left to fend for himself at the margins of the group. Each day is a test of endurance. Kutlo's world is one of constant vigilance, where every glance from a dominant clan member could signal a new trial or humiliation. The social order is enforced with ruthless efficiency. Even among the youngest, play quickly turns to aggression, and Kutlo is a frequent target for the rough games that reinforce the pecking order. He is shoved aside, nipped and harried by those who sense his vulnerability. Each encounter leaves him more wary, but also more determined to endure. Kutlo's isolation is profound. He lingers at the periphery, watching the clan's intricate social dance from a distance, longing for acceptance yet fearing further rejection. The clan's hierarchy is rigid and absolute. Dominance is asserted through posture, vocalizations, and frequent displays of force, leaving little room for compassion or weakness. When a kill is made, the feeding ritual is a spectacle of chaos and order. The strongest surge forward, while the rest jostle for position, each movement dictated by rank. The matriarch, flanked by her trusted commanders, claims the choicest portions. Only when they are sated do the lesser-ranked hyenas dare to approach. Kutlo waits at the very back, his hunger gnawing as he watches the others devour the feast. By the time he is permitted to approach, only bones and scraps remain. He must scavenge what little is left, his meals meagre and hard-won. Even then he faces fierce competition. Larger clanmates drive him away, forcing him to snatch morsels in fleeting moments of opportunity. Hunger becomes a constant companion, etching his frame with the unmistakable signs of deprivation. To survive, Kutlo must be quick and cunning, darting in to seize whatever he can before the opportunity vanishes. Yet beneath his battered exterior, a fierce resilience takes root. Kutlo's spirit, though tested, refuses to yield. Time and again he rises after each setback, his resolve hardening with every challenge. Desperation sharpens his instincts. He studies the clan's every move, searching for patterns and weaknesses in the social fabric. Kutlo becomes a silent observer, learning the subtle cues that govern access to food, safety, and status. He comes to understand a harsh truth. True survival is impossible in isolation. The clan's strength lies in unity, even for those at the bottom. Gradually, Kutlo seeks out others like himself, young hyenas relegated to the outskirts, each struggling to find their place. In this unlikely alliance, they discover a fragile sense of belonging. Together, they share warmth, protection, and the faint hope of a better future. During a particularly frenzied feeding, Kutlo and his companions act as one, darting in shoulder to claim their share. Their unity catches the others off guard, earning them precious bites. For the first time, Kutlo tastes the sweetness of victory. It is a modest triumph, but it ignites a spark of confidence. This act of defiance signals a shift. Kutlo is no longer content to accept his fate as a perpetual victim. He begins to assert himself, challenging the boundaries that once confined him. Each confrontation, each small victory, chips away at the perception of his weakness. Slowly, the clan begins to take notice. Kutlo's persistence earns him a grudging respect, if not yet acceptance. The commanders, ever watchful, observe his growing tenacity. They see not just a runt, but a survivor, one who refuses to be broken. Eager to prove himself, Kutlo volunteers for every patrol and hunt, pushing his limits and learning the skills of a true soldier. His ascent is slow and fraught with setbacks, but each step forward is hard-earned and meaningful. Over time, Kutlo's transformation becomes undeniable. The Outcast is now a contender, forging a place for himself within the clan's ranks. Kutlo's journey is a testament to the resilience demanded by the wild, a story of struggle, adaptation, and the relentless pursuit of belonging in a world where only the determined endure. The painted wild dogs are more than just a hunting unit. They are a tightly woven family, each member bound by loyalty and instinct. Their movements across the plains are a symphony of coordination, every stride and turn a testament to their deep social bonds. At the heart of this pack stands Wame, the newly established alpha female. Her leadership is both inherited and earned as she steps into the role with a quiet authority, guiding her siblings and younger pack members with subtle cues and unwavering resolve. Wame's mother, Mogolo, once the matriarch, now serves as a nurturing grandmother. She tends to Wame's first litter, 6 fragile pups, her experience invaluable in the delicate rituals of care, grooming, and discipline that shape the next generation. Their sanctuary is a well-concealed den, tucked beneath tangled brush and shaded by acacia. For a brief, precious time, it is a fortress, shielding the vulnerable pups from the ever-present threats that stalk the kingdom. While the adults vanish into the golden grass to hunt, the den becomes a nursery. Here the pups tumble and play, learning the first lessons of pack life under the watchful eyes of their elders. The den is more than shelter, it is the emotional core of the pack, a place where bonds are forged, and the future is nurtured with every gentle nuzzle and playful growl. Yet the drought transforms the land into a harsh, unforgiving expanse. Waterholes shrink, prey becomes scarce, and the brittle air carries every sound farther than before. The pups' exuberant yelps, once harmless, now echo across the parched savannah, unintentionally betraying their sanctuary to the ears of predators. Among the most relentless are the hyenas, whose keen senses and tireless patrols make them formidable adversaries. They are always listening, always searching for weakness. One fateful day, the hyenas intercept the telltale sounds. Their curiosity leads them straight to the hidden den, shattering the fragile peace the wild dogs have built. The wild dogs, though skilled and courageous, find themselves facing a force that outnumbers and outweighs them. The tension is palpable as the two rival packs size each other up. Wame stands at the forefront, her body tense, every muscle ready to defend her young. Her leadership is tested in the crucible of conflict as she rallies her family to stand firm. The ensuing clash is a blur of snapping jaws and flying dust. Wild dogs dart and feint, working in perfect synchrony, while hyenas press forward with brute force and relentless determination. Through sheer unity and tactical precision, the wild dogs manage to drive the main group of hyenas away from the den, their teamwork a display of instinct honed by generations of survival. Wame's courage is unmistakable. She lunges at the intruders, risking everything to protect her pups, her actions inspiring the pack to greater ferocity. The hyenas, momentarily overwhelmed, retreat into the grass. The wild dog's victory is hard-won, a fleeting triumph in a world where safety is never guaranteed. But in the chaos, a single hyena slips through the defensive line. exploiting a momentary lapse in the pack's vigilance. In a flash, it seizes a pup and vanishes into the undergrowth, leaving behind a trail of heartbreak and confusion. The loss reverberates through the pack. Their mournful whines fill the air, each member sharing in the grief, their unity now tinged with sorrow. Though they have repelled the invaders, the sanctuary is lost. The den, once a haven, is now a place of danger and painful memories. The den stands empty, its silence a stark reminder of the cost of survival in this unforgiving land. The hyenas linger nearby, their presence a constant threat. They have learned the location and will not forget it. Wame, burdened by loss and responsibility, must make a critical decision. The safety of her remaining pups and the future of the pack rests on her next move. She gathers her 5 surviving pups, drawing them close. The pack closes ranks, their bonds strengthened by adversity. With heavy hearts, they abandon the den, venturing into the unknown. Every step is a gamble, every shadow a potential threat. The wild dogs become wanderers once more, adapting to a life on the move. Their survival depends on their unity, their ability to read the land, and their relentless drive to protect one another. As Wame leads her grieving family through the perilous wilderness, her leadership is tested as never before. The pack's fate hangs in the balance, each day a struggle to reclaim a sense of safety and belonging in the savage kingdom. Once, before the relentless drought began to choke the land, Mochidi was the undisputed princess of her forest. Her world was a tapestry of emerald leaves and dappled sunlight, a sanctuary where she moved with silent grace and unshakable confidence. Every step she took was measured and assured. Mochidi's senses were finely tuned to the rhythms of her territory. She could read the faintest rustle in the undergrowth, the subtle shift of a breeze, the distant alarm call of a bird. She had mastered the delicate balance of survival, even daring to outwit the formidable hyenas. With calculated patience, she would seize opportunities to snatch a meal from under their noses, her agility and cunning keeping her one step ahead of danger. Her days were spent in relative peace, basking in the cool shade of ancient trees, her muscles relaxed, but always ready to spring into action. The forest was generous, offering her shelter in its tangled branches, fresh water from hidden streams, and a steady supply of prey. It was a kingdom that seemed eternal. In the prime of her youth, Mochidi's coat gleamed with health, her eyes bright with the promise of many seasons to come. From her vantage points high in the trees, she surveyed her domain, a realm she ruled with quiet authority, unchallenged and secure. But the drought arrived like a silent invader, draining the streams, withering the foliage, and turning the once vibrant forest into a place of hardship and scarcity. The struggle for survival intensified. Animals that once coexisted now found themselves in fierce competition, each desperate for the last drops of water and scraps of food. Into this turmoil came Phefo, an older, battle-scarred leopardess, accompanied by her 2 vulnerable cubs. Her arrival was not just a challenge, it was a declaration. Driven by the fierce instinct to protect her offspring, Phefo was relentless. Her need for a safe haven made her a force Mochidi could not ignore. In the world of leopards, territory is everything. When 2 females cross paths, the stakes are life and death. A single miscalculation can mean fatal injury. Mochidi, though strong and clever, lacked the desperate resolve of a mother defending her young. She watched from the shadows, weighing her options, her heart pounding with the knowledge of her disadvantage. There was no dramatic clash, no echoing roars or flying claws. The forest itself seemed to hold its breath as the balance of power shifted. In the wild, the most profound changes often happen in silence. Mochidi understood the unspoken rules. Sometimes survival means knowing when to walk away. She watched Phefo's every move, recognizing the older leopard's strength and the unwavering protection she offered her cubs. The message was clear. This territory now belonged to another. Mochidi's reign had ended, not with a fight, but with a quiet, inevitable surrender. She knew that to stay would mean endless conflict, wounds that might never heal, and the constant threat of death. With a final, lingering look at the only home she had ever known, Mochidi made her decision. Phefo and her cubs settled into the territory, their presence a living testament to the ever-changing order of the wild. Alone, Mochidi felt the weight of exile. The forest that had once been her sanctuary was now forbidden ground. She turned her back on the familiar trees, her paws carrying her into uncertainty, her heart heavy with loss but her spirit unbroken. Mochidi became a wanderer, a princess without a kingdom, her future as open and unpredictable as the wild itself. She melted into the tall grass, her form blending with the landscape, her journey just beginning. The world beyond her forest was harsh and unfamiliar. Each step brought new dangers, territorial rivals, scarce water, and the ever-present threat of starvation. Mochidi's journey demanded constant vigilance. She moved with caution, her senses heightened, adapting to every new challenge the drought-stricken wilderness threw her way. Driven by instinct and resilience, she searched for a place to call her own, a patch of land where she could once again find safety, sustenance, and perhaps, in time, a new beginning. Mochidi's exile is a testament to the resilience of the wild. In the face of loss and adversity, she adapts, endures, and survives, her story echoing the eternal struggle of all creatures who call this unforgiving kingdom home. In the heart of Mombo, the relentless drought has transformed the land into a crucible of survival, where only the most resourceful endure. The once verdant plains are now a tapestry of cracked earth and ghostly animal trails, each marking a desperate search for sustenance. Here every animal family faces a daily reckoning. Wildebeest and antelope, gaunt and hollow-eyed, trek for miles across the dust-choked landscape, their senses sharpened by thirst. They gather at shrinking waterholes, risking ambush for a few precious mouthfuls. Predators and prey alike are forced to rewrite the rules of existence. Lions, leopards, hyenas, and wild dogs navigate a world where every encounter is fraught with tension. Alliances shift and ancient rivalries flare as the competition for food intensifies. At dawn, predators stalk with renewed cunning, exploiting the cover of long shadows. Prey animals emerge warily, their movements calculated, every step a gamble between starvation and predation. The waterholes become arenas of ingenuity and risk. Elephants dig deep into the riverbeds, unearthing hidden reserves of water, while buffalo and antelope crowd the edges, each species developing unique strategies to outmaneuver rivals and avoid predators. Scarcity breeds conflict. Lions and hyenas clash over carcasses, their confrontations brutal and unyielding. Yet in moments of dire need, even sworn enemies may share a muddy pool, united by desperation. For every family, adaptation is the only path forward. Those who fail to innovate face extinction. Tsebe's pride, battered but resolute, embarks on a perilous migration. They traverse unfamiliar territories, reading the wind for distant storms and following the faint scent of rain, determined to establish a new dynasty beyond the reach of their rivals. In contrast, Thata's pride is fractured. A devastating injury to their leader and the lethargy of some members sap their strength. Their survival hinges on the ingenuity of the few who still hunt, devising new tactics to ambush prey in the open, unforgiving terrain. Phefo the leopard, a solitary mother, demonstrates extraordinary resourcefulness. She conceals her cubs in rocky dens, moves them under cover of darkness, and hunts at the margins of the kingdom, exploiting overlooked opportunities and evading larger predators. Each survival strategy is a calculated risk, a testament to the relentless drive to endure against overwhelming odds. Even among the victors, the struggle never ends. Male lions spar for dominance. Wild dogs defend their kills with coordinated precision, and hyenas test the boundaries of their power in tense standoffs. For young Kutlo, survival is a solitary battle. Bullied and ostracized, he learns to scavenge at the fringes, using stealth and patience to carve out a place in the unforgiving hierarchy of the clan. Wame's wild dog pack, ever vigilant, relocates their vulnerable pups to safer ground. They communicate through subtle signals, coordinating complex movements to evade danger and secure scarce resources for the next generation. Mochidi, the young leopard, faces exile with quiet determination. Alone, she adapts by hunting smaller prey, climbing higher for safety, and mapping new territories, her survival a testament to resilience in isolation. The drought is an unyielding adversary, shaping every decision, every adaptation. Elephants demonstrate remarkable ingenuity, using their tusks and trunks to excavate deep wells, while zebra and wildebeest form protective herds, braving dust storms and predators in their relentless search for water. Across the kingdom, determination is etched into every face. Chases become more daring, defenses more ingenious, as each animal pushes the boundaries of its abilities to protect its lineage. The animals of Mombo innovate, adapt, and endure, each day a new chapter in the saga of survival. As the sun rises over the battered plains, life persists, not because the struggle is easy, but because the instinct to survive is unbreakable, driving every creature to defy the odds. In this kingdom forged by adversity, survival is the ultimate law, demanding ingenuity, courage, and an unwavering will to live, no matter the cost. As the blazing sun dips behind the thorny acacias, a new rhythm pulses through the kingdom of Mombo. The suffocating heat gives way to a cool, trembling darkness, an hour when the night hunters rise and the land is ruled by shadows. Here, survival is rewritten beneath the silver gaze of the moon. The air is thick with anticipation. Hyenas, masters of the night, slink from their dens in silent procession. Their senses are sharpened by hunger and experience, ears swiveling for the faintest sound, noses twitching for the scent of a hidden meal. They communicate in low whoops and cackles, orchestrating a silent ballet as they fan out across the plains. Tonight, they are both scavenger and strategist, ready to exploit any weakness in the kingdom's nocturnal defenses. Leopards glide through the darkness, their spotted coats melting into the dappled shadows. Phefo, ever the vigilant mother, moves with ghostly precision along the rocky ridges. Her golden eyes scan for the telltale rustle of a sleeping antelope or the careless movement of a rodent. Every step is calculated, each leap and pause a product of instinct honed by countless nights. In the tangled undergrowth, servals stalk with delicate balance. Their oversized ears pivot, capturing the faintest squeak of a mouse or the flutter of an insect. With a sudden pounce they strike, silent assassins in the moonlight, thriving in the ecological niches left by larger rivals. Elsewhere, the wild dogs, restless and coordinated, emerge from their hidden lairs. Their movements are synchronized, each member attuned to the subtle signals of the pack. They melt into the darkness, weaving through the grasslands with tireless energy, seeking to outflank both prey and rival predators. Their yips and whines are barely audible, but their presence is felt by every creature that stirs in the night. Lions, too, come alive under the stars. Their roars reverberate across the plains, staking claim to territory and testing the courage of would-be challengers. Young males, emboldened by the cover of darkness, attempt daring ambushes, learning through failure and fortune the unforgiving calculus of the hunt. Yet the night is not without its perils. The boundaries between predator and prey blur in the darkness. A careless step can mean disaster. A hyena stumbling into a lion's ambush, or a young leopard caught in the crossfire between rival prides. The stakes are heightened, every choice amplified by the cloak of night. Above it all, the moon casts its pale light, illuminating the silent drama unfolding below. The intricate dance of the nocturnal hunters is a testament to evolution's artistry. Each species carving a niche, each individual fighting for its place in the hierarchy of shadows. In the kingdom of Mombo, true mastery is claimed not only by strength or speed, but by those who can read the night, who can move unseen, and who can outthink both rival and prey. As dawn approaches, the hunters retreat, their bellies full or empty, their stories etched into the dust and darkness. The night has its own rules, its own kings and queens, a hidden world, as fierce and complex as any under the sun. As the first blush of dawn seeps into the horizon, the kingdom of Mombo stirs with life unseen by the night's hunters. Beneath the drama of tooth and claw, a quieter struggle unfolds, one led by the secret keepers of the Savannah, the Scavengers. Jackals, with their pointed muzzles and keen amber eyes, are among the first to emerge. They move with nimble purpose, weaving between the shadows of the lion's wake. Their survival depends on timing, arriving just as the great predators abandon a kill, yet before larger rivals claim the remains. Every scrap is contested, every meal a fleeting opportunity. With sharp wits and sharper senses, jackals can sniff out a carcass from miles away, often following vultures as living signposts in the sky. Above, the sky is punctuated by silent, circling forms, vultures, the true sentinels of the dead. Their wings stretch wide, catching the morning thermals as they scan for the glint of bone or the shimmer of fresh flesh. Vultures are nature's clean-up crew, immune to the toxins and bacteria that would fell lesser creatures. Their beaks are built to tear sinew from bone, their stomachs to withstand the most potent of pathogens. In their wake, disease is kept at bay, and the cycle of life continues unbroken. But the Scavengers' world is not without peril. Competition is fierce. Marabou storks, with their imposing stature and dagger-like bills, wade into the fray, unafraid to jostle with hyenas or outmuscle a jackal for a coveted morsel. Even the smallest scavengers, dung beetles and carrion crows, play their part, breaking down what others leave behind and returning nutrients to the soil. Each scavenger fills a vital ecological role. By consuming the remains others leave, they prevent the spread of disease, recycle nutrients, and sustain a delicate balance that supports the entire kingdom of Mombo. They are the quiet custodians, often overlooked but never unnecessary. In the intricate web of life, the scavenger's story is one of resilience and resourcefulness. Their tactics, patience, cooperation, opportunism, are as finely tuned as any predator's claws or fangs. And while they may not rule the night or command the sunlit plains, their legacy is written in the health of the land itself. As the sun climbs higher and the shadows fade, the secret keepers retreat once more, their work complete for another day. In the heart of Mombo, survival is never wasted. Every life, every death, and every scrap is part of a story only the scavengers truly know. As the seasons shift and the African sun tilts toward a harsher glare, a new rhythm pulses through the kingdom of Mombo. On the horizon, dust rises in shimmering columns, the first sign of the great migrations. Wildebeest, zebra, and buffalo gather in swirling herds, driven by an ancient instinct to chase the rains and the promise of fresh grass. Their hooves drum a thunderous beat across the parched earth, a living river that surges through the heart of the savannah. The migrations are more than a spectacle. They are the lifeblood of Mombo. Where the herds move, so too does the balance of power. Predators lurk at the fringes, alert to opportunity. Lions and wild dogs shadow the columns, their eyes fixed on the weak or unwary. Crocodiles lie in wait at swollen rivers, where the crossing becomes a test of courage and luck. But the impact of the migration ripples far beyond the hunt. As thousands of grazers pass, they mow down tall grasses, opening up new pathways and scattering seeds with every step. Their droppings fertilize the soil, feeding the next generation of plants and nourishing the smallest creatures, termites, beetles, and birds who follow in their wake. For the resident animals of Mombo, the arrival of the herds signals both feast and challenge. Elephants and giraffes, drawn by the abundance, compete for the choicest foliage. Jackals and hyenas grow bolder, scavenging the remains of failed crossings. Even the waterways transform, as fish and amphibians thrive on the nutrients washed in by the trampling mass. Yet as swiftly as the herds arrive, they move on, chasing the storm clouds over the horizon. In their absence, the land quiets. The predators grow leaner, the scavengers hungrier. The grasses have a chance to recover, and the cycle prepares to begin again. The migrations are a living heartbeat, a force that shapes every creature's fate in Mombo. Through drought and plenty, hunger and bounty, the great crossing reminds all who dwell here. In the kingdom of Mombo, survival is a dance choreographed by the seasons, and every step echoes in the balance of life. Beneath the thunder of hooves and the drama of predator and prey, another world thrives, one seldom seen yet utterly essential. This is the realm of insects, the invisible architects of Mombo. Here, in the hush between grass blades and the cool underbelly of ancient logs, millions of tiny workers shape the very foundation of the savannah. Termites, often overlooked, are master builders and recyclers. With tireless precision, they construct towering mounds that rise like citadels above the plains, their intricate tunnels aerating the soil and making it fertile for new life. As they digest dry wood and dead grass, they return nutrients to the earth, fueling the next wave of growth that sustains great herds and towering trees alike. Ants patrol the landscape in disciplined columns, scavenging fallen seeds and prey. Some species tend to aphids, harvesting their sweet secretions and in turn protecting these tiny livestock from danger. Others wage silent wars, defending their territory with unwavering resolve, ensuring that no single force dominates the delicate equilibrium. Beetles, in dazzling variety, contribute in ways both seen and unseen. Dung beetles roll and bury the droppings left by giants, not only cleaning the land, but also sowing seeds and enriching the soil. Their tireless labor prevents disease and supports the cycles of decay and renewal that underpin every life in Mombo. Hovering above, butterflies and bees pollinate a tapestry of wildflowers. Their delicate flights connect distant blooms, weaving invisible threads that bind the kingdom's fate to the promise of tomorrow's harvest. In the hidden world of insects, every action, no matter how small, reverberates through the ecosystem. They decompose, pollinate, aerate, and defend, each species a vital cog in the machinery of life. Without their silent industry, the drama of lions and migrations, the lush grasslands and mighty rivers would fade into silence. In Mombo, the smallest creatures wield the greatest influence. Unseen, yet indispensable, they are the silent engineers, shaping, sustaining, and forever renewing the pulse of the wild. In the boundless wilderness of Mombo, there are places where the very heartbeat of the savannah can be heard, the waterholes. Scattered like precious jewels across the parched earth, these shimmering pools are more than just a source of water. They are the crucibles of life and arenas of unspoken rivalry. As dawn breaks, the first to arrive are the gentle giants. Elephants, matriarchs leading their families, approach with deliberate grace. Their trunks probe the cool surface, drawing up gallons to quench thirst and cool sun-baked hides. Calves tumble and splash, learning the rituals of survival under watchful eyes. The waterhole becomes a classroom, a sanctuary, and a memory passed down through generations. But the elephants do not linger alone. Soon zebras and wildebeest gather at the margins, their reflections trembling in the morning light. They drink in wary silence, ever alert for the shadows that stalk the reeds. For predators, the waterhole is a stage of opportunity. Lions crouch in the tall grass, calculating patience into deadly precision. Crocodiles, ancient and motionless, lurk beneath the surface, their eyes betraying nothing but hunger. As the sun climbs, the tempo shifts. Herds jostle for space, tempers flaring in the heat. Buffalo bulls square off, horns clashing in thunderous contests of strength, dominance and access decided in a spray of dust and sweat. Warthogs kneel to sip, their tails twitching with unease, always ready to bolt at the slightest ripple. Birds, too, descend in their multitudes. Flocks of doves flutter and wheel, weaving patterns above the water. Storks and herons stalk the shallows, poised to strike at darting fish or careless frogs. Each species finds its moment, its rhythm, in the ceaseless choreography of arrival and departure. Yet the waterhole is not merely a place of peace. It is a frontier where alliances are tested and rivalries laid bare. A single drought can sharpen every tension, every need. The strongest drink first, the weakest last, sometimes not at all. The air crackles with anticipation, every visit a gamble between nourishment and danger. As dusk settles and the sky blazes with colour, the last visitors arrive. Cautious leopards slip through twilight shadows. Hyenas skulk at the periphery, hoping for scraps left by the day's drama. Even the smallest creatures, frogs, insects, bats, emerge to claim their share of the life-giving water. Here, at the waterholes of Mombo, every drop is contested, every sip a story. These oases are the pulse of survival, the crossroads where destinies meet and diverge with the rhythm of the wild. In their mirrored depths, the saga of Mombo is written anew, each day, each season, each life. When the rains fail and the rivers shrink, Mombo transforms. The once glimmering oases shrink to cracked mud and bitter puddles, lifelines stretched to their limit. Here, drought is not just absence, it is a force that tests every inhabitant, from the mightiest to the most fragile. Elephants, led by wise matriarchs, embark on arduous treks. Their memories map out ancient hidden springs, some buried beneath sand, others marked only by the ghosts of past migrations. Calves stumble, their trunks coated in dust, but the herd presses on, breaking ground with their tusks to uncover even a trickle of water. Each drop is precious, fiercely defended and carefully shared. Buffalo, once dominant at the water's edge, become wanderers. Their herds fracture, searching for greener pastures that no longer exist. The weakest lag behind, their ribs stark against the failing grass, while the strongest push forward, driven by instinct and desperation. Predators adapt in silence. Lions, deprived of easy ambushes at shrinking waterholes, must hunt in the open, targeting the exhausted and the old. Their roars echo longer, hungrier, as they patrol fading territories. Hyenas grow bolder, scavenging with relentless persistence, their laughter now a chorus of survival, not victory. Zebras and wildebeest cluster in tight formations, their eyes wide and wary. They graze the last tufts of brittle grass, moving at dusk and dawn to escape the searing heat. Even their migrations falter, as traditional routes become graveyards of bleached bone and withered hope. Smaller creatures, too, adapt or perish. Warthogs dig for hidden roots, their snouts caked with earth. Tortoises burrow deep, sealing themselves away in a slow battle against thirst. Birds gather in dwindling flocks, flying farther each day in search of scattered pools. Each journey a gamble, each return a triumph. The land itself changes, its surface hardening into a mosaic of cracks. Dust devils spiral across the plains, carrying seeds and lost feathers. Trees drop their leaves, conserving every drop of moisture, while acacias stand stubborn, their thorns sharper than ever. Yet, amid the hardship, life endures. The first distant rumble of thunder stirs hope in every heart. Animals lift their heads, nostrils flaring at the scent of rain. For those who survive, the return of water is not just relief. It is a reward for resilience, a promise that even in the harshest drought, the wild will find a way to endure. In Mombo, drought is a crucible. It forges strength, shapes behavior, and etches survival into the very bones of the land. And when the rains finally come, they bring not just water, but the renewal of ancient bonds and the unbroken promise of life. As the sun-baked plains of Mombo begin to cool with the promise of distant rain, a different kind of storm brews beneath the acacia shadows, a struggle not for water or grass, but for dominance itself. Here the savannah is divided not by fences, but by the invisible borders of rival factions, alliances forged in necessity, broken by ambition. At the heart of this silent war, the Lion Coalition reigns, 4 powerful brothers bound by blood and a common hunger. Their roars claim the northern grasslands, their presence driving herds and predators alike into uneasy truce or open flight. Yet their power is not absolute. In the east, the Hyena clans gather, their numbers swelling with every moonrise. Led by a cunning matriarch, they orchestrate raids on lion kills, testing the patience and pride of their feline adversaries. Between them a fragile peace holds until a single night shatters the balance. The lions, desperate from weeks of lean hunting, invade the hyena's den under cover of darkness. The clash is brutal, echoing across the veldt. Cubs cry out, mothers defend, and for a moment the outcome hangs in the humid air. In the aftermath, both sides suffer. The lions limp away wounded and fewer. The hyenas mourn their lost, but their resolve hardens into vengeance. Elsewhere, the elephant matriarchs, usually above such quarrels, find themselves drawn into the fray. A young bull, emboldened by drought and driven from his herd, allies with a rogue buffalo faction. Together, they challenge the established order at a shrinking waterhole, scattering zebra and wildebeest in a flurry of dust and panic. Old alliances fracture as the desperate form new pacts, zebra and wildebeest grazing together under the wary watch of outcast giraffes, united by necessity, not trust. As weeks pass, victories are fleeting. The Lion Coalition is whittled down, their territories shrinking with each hyena incursion. The buffalo rebels are driven off by the returning rains, their moment of might washed away with the dust. Even the hyenas, flush with triumph, soon splinter, internal rivalries bubbling up as food becomes plentiful once more. In the end, no single faction holds sway for long. Power in Mombo is as transient as the seasons, one with courage, lost to cunning, always shifting beneath the relentless African sky. The rise and fall of rival factions is not just a struggle for dominance, but a lesson written in paw prints and scars. Here, survival belongs not to the strongest, but to those who adapt, endure, and remember that in this kingdom unity is as fragile as the rain. Beneath the surface turmoil of rivalries and shifting reigns, a deeper force binds the kingdom of Mombo together, a web of life woven from countless threads, each as vital as the next. Here, no creature stands alone. Every movement, every breath ripples outward, touching lives in ways unseen. As the first light of dawn spills across the floodplain, a herd of impala grazes cautiously, their ears flicking at the distant call of a fish-eagle. The impala's grazing stirs clouds of insects from the grass, drawing a flock of glossy starlings to feast in their wake. Nearby, a dung beetle rolls its precious cargo, shaping the soil with every turn, its small labour feeding the earth that grows the grass, that feeds the herds, that sustains the predators. At a shrunken waterhole, elephants gather to drink, their trunks stirring the mud and releasing nutrients into the water. Tiny fish dart in to feed, while wading birds probe the softened banks for hidden worms. Even the crocodile, patient and silent, plays its role. Its presence ensures only the wary survive, keeping the herds strong, the ecosystem balanced. High above, a committee of vultures circles on thermals, their sharp eyes watching for the end of a hunt. When a predator's feast is finished, the scavengers descend, cleaning bones and scattering fragments. In their wake, the ground is enriched, and new plants take root where life once ended. The termites, hidden in their mounds, are silent architects, recycling wood, aerating the soil, and building towers that shelter generations of creatures. Their tunnels become highways for snakes, lizards, and even the rare pangolins searching for a midnight meal. As the rains return, frogs emerge from their burrows, chorusing into the night. Their calls summon storks and owls, while their eggs feed fish and beetles, linking water and land in an endless exchange. In Mombo, the fate of the mighty and the minute are inextricably entwined. The lion's hunt, the buffalo's stampede, the hyena's laughter, the bee's pollination, all are chapters in a single unending story. Here, existence is a symphony of dependence, where every life, no matter how small or brief, shapes the destiny of the kingdom. In the end, survival is not a solitary triumph, but a testament to the power of connection. For in Mombo, to endure is to belong, to a world where every heartbeat echoes with the lives of 1,000 others, bound together in the intricate, eternal web of life. As darkness loosens its hold on the kingdom of Mombo, a subtle transformation begins. Before the first rays of sun touch the floodplain, the air stirs with a chorus of voices, a symphony composed by the birds of the savannah. From the tangled thickets, a white-browed cuckold utters its bubbling call, the prelude to a swelling melody. Soon the lilting whistles of bulbuls and the resonant rhythmic phrases of hornbills weave through the cool air, each note a signal. The night is over, and the world awakens. High in the canopy, the glossy starling's iridescent feathers catch the faintest glimmer of dawn as it joins the chorus, its sharp trills rising above the softer murmurs below. Weaver birds, tireless architects, flutter among the reeds, their ceaseless chatter marking the boundaries of their territories and forging bonds within their colonies. Their intricate nests dangle like ornaments from the acacia branches, safe havens for the next generation. Every song has a purpose. The woodland kingfisher's piercing call warns rivals and welcomes mates, while the melodious warble of the black-collared barbet signals a feast of ripe fruit, drawing in a flurry of wings. Even the drab but vigilant lapwing patrolling the open floodplain pipes its alarm to alert all within earshot to hidden dangers. With each note, the birds do more than announce the day, they shape it. Their foraging stirs insects from the grasses, providing breakfast for mongoose and monitor lizard alike. The seeds they swallow and scatter give rise to new thickets and groves, renewing the landscape with every flight. In the hush beneath the trees, the soft cooing of doves calms the nervous impala, signaling a momentary peace. When the sun crests the horizon, the chorus swells to its crescendo. The fish-eagle's haunting cry ripples across the water, a signature that stirs the hearts of all who hear it. The air itself seems to tremble with possibility, every song a thread in the tapestry of Mombo's morning. As the heat of the day rises and the chorus fades, the work of the birds continues, pollinating, planting, warning and sustaining. Their voices linger in the hush, reminders of the invisible ties that bind the kingdom together. In Mombo, the dawn is more than a beginning. It is a daily renewal, orchestrated by countless wings and voices. The birds, in all their diversity, are both musicians and caretakers, heralds of hope, guardians of balance, and the living pulse of a land forever waking to new life. Beneath the sweeping grasslands and towering acacias of Mombo, another world thrives, a realm measured in millimeters where survival is a daily act of ingenuity and adaptation. Here, in the cool shadows of the undergrowth, the smallest creatures undertake epic journeys invisible to the giants above. A termite worker, pale and blind, navigates a labyrinth of tunnels beneath the cracked earth. Guided by the scent trails left by her sisters, she carries a single fragment of dry grass, fuel for the colony's subterranean city. Above ground, a shimmering column of matabele ants marches with military precision, their armored bodies glinting in the low morning light. Each ant is a specialist: scouts, warriors, nurses, every role crucial in the relentless struggle against predators and starvation. Along the edge of a muddy pool, a whirligig beetle spins in dizzying circles, its split vision keeping watch for danger both above and below the water. Nearby, a velvet mite, brilliant red against the dust, emerges after the rain, its brief life dedicated to a single purpose: to find a mate before the sun dries the land once again. Hidden among the leaf litter, A speckled pygmy gecko flicks its tongue, snaring the gnats and springtails that rise with the warmth. Each meal is a victory, each step a calculated risk. One wrong move could draw the attention of a hunting spider, whose intricate web shimmers between the stems. The chorus of insects, crickets, cicadas, and katydids rises as the day heats up, their calls a tapestry of clicks and hums. For the dwarf mongoose, these sounds are signposts guiding the search for food. For the scorpion, they are signals of both opportunity and threat. In this miniature kingdom, survival depends on timing, camouflage, and the ability to vanish in an instant. A mantis waits, motionless, its body indistinguishable from the grass it clings to. Its patience is rewarded when a careless butterfly settles nearby. One swift strike, and the cycle continues. As dusk approaches, the undergrowth comes alive in a final surge. Fireflies blink among the roots, signaling to potential mates. A chorus of frogs adds new voices to the night, their eggs clinging to damp reeds, each one a fragile promise of the next generation. Though small in size, these creatures are architects of the land, cycling nutrients, aerating soil, and sustaining the plants and animals that depend on them. In Mombo, the survival of the smallest is not a footnote, but the foundation of life itself. Their hidden struggles and triumphs shape the fate of the kingdom every day beneath our feet.